Today, then, is World Food Day, a time for French papers to reflect on farming and hunger, isn't it, Flo?
That's right. Let's start with the Christian paper La Croix, which publishes the results of a poll that it conducted. 80% of French people, according to this poll, believe that multinational food processing giants have a negative role in poor countries, and 81% of French people believe that the best way to feed the planet is through small, local, and family-sized farms rather than the big agricultural industry.
And Le Figaro, meanwhile, they're focusing on farming here in France, aren't
That's
they?
right. Farming is a big deal here in France. And Le Figaro points out that, French farmers actually have a really tough life. And in fact, according to a recent study that was carried out between 2007 and 2009, there were 485 suicides. That's the equivalent of one suicide every 2 days. And on top of this, Le Figaro points out that farmers are facing a growing phenomenon, and that is theft. And this is what you can see here in Le Figaro. Farmers are fed up with this non-stop stealing. So there have been about 8,000 cases of theft that have been registered in the countryside since the beginning of the year. So robbers that are doing this stealing are, according to Le Figaro, part of organized gangs, and they sell their loot abroad. So what are they stealing? Well, they're stealing everything, according to Le Figaro. Tractors, livestock, even harvests right off the field. So that's, potatoes or wheat or even grapes that are used to make wine. So all this represents a huge loss for farmers who are already struggling, and according to Le Figaro, they're starting to get really angry, and a lot of them are actually even considering taking justice into their own hands. And Le Figaro also focuses on the fact that the extreme right, the National Front Party, is really hoping to jump in and take advantage of their despair. According to Le Figaro, the farmers' anger is a fertile ground for the National Front. It's actually part of their election strategy, because traditionally farmers vote for the right or the center-right, but given that they're feeling so fed up with the fact that the government isn't listening to them, they feel like the National Front is going out to bat for them, and so a lot of them are actually feeling tempted by the extreme right.
Yeah, we have seen, haven't we, in recent weeks, the far-right National Party making very steady progress, really, haven't they, in opinion polls and in elections as well. How are the government responding to that?
Well, that's right. Le Monde actually focuses on this because over the weekend, the National Front won a by-election in the southern town of Brignoles, and according to Le Monde, well, the Élysée is trying to play down this victory, saying, look, this is local politics, not national politics. But Le Monde says what's really happening here is that the government is in denial about the danger of the National Front. And Le Figaro also points out that the National Front could be a bigger threat than people originally thought in the upcoming municipal elections. According to their calculations, and you can see a little map there, there could be 1,000 cases where a candidate from the far right would be involved in what's known as a triangle with a candidate from the Socialist Party and the UMP Party. So that's a case where there are 3 candidates in the final round, and in that case, it actually plays into the favor of the National Front, and this is could especially be the case in large and middle-sized cities. Now, Aujourd'hui en France focuses on the fact that not only is the far right gaining ground, but the government is really tumbling in opinion polls. According to a recent poll, Hollande lost 5 points in his approval rating and putting him at 35%. And so this is the question that's on everybody's mind. Just how far is Hollande going to fall? According to Aujourd'hui en France, a lot of socialists are really starting to freak out about this.
Now, Le Parisien, taking a look at what could be France's next war.
That's right. Now, France is still very much involved in Mali, but according to Le Parisien, it could rush to the aid of another one of its former colonies, and that's the Central African Republic. According to Le Parisien, as soon as the UN gives its green light, several hundred French soldiers could be deployed to the Central African Republic, and their mission will be to bring order to the country, which is facing a serious humanitarian crisis and the looming threat of civil war.
And finally, Flo's going to turn to Liberace, turning its attention to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, of course, where 2 million Muslims have been taking part in the Hajj. We saw some live pictures during the programme
That's right.
yesterday.
They're incredible photos where 2 million Muslims are taking part in this. They're following in the footsteps of Prophet Muhammad. Now, Libération took a look at the business behind the Hajj because, as you can imagine, a lot of money is at stake. It's an important source of profit. There are all sorts of, for instance, travel agents that are specialized in bringing people from various countries to Mecca. On On top of, according to Libération, the people who are making the most money are people who sell halal meat. That's really a real cash cow in the Islamo business, as Libération calls it. It costs about 5,000 euros to do the Hajj. So it's often people who are of a certain age, who have saved up their whole life. But Libération points out that some of them actually get ripped off, and so that's what you can read about in Libération. And just to finish up, though, let's take a look at the front page of Libération. They talk about nostalgiques, so that has, of course, to do with Asterix. There's an exhibit that's coming back on Asterix and Obélix, so that famous French comic strip that was created in 1959. You can go to the Bibliothèque Nationale Française, so the French library here, to see all your famous comic strips. And actually, a new comic book is coming out for Asterix. But it's the first time that the two original creators of Asterix, so Goscinny and Uderzo, will not be participating in it because, they're dead, actually. But this is, so you can read all the new Asterix very soon.
Excellent. Good to. Poor old Asterix didn't look very happy in that, did he?
I think it's an old version of Asterix.
Storming off. Flo, thanks a lot. Let's Flo with the papers here on France 24. Coming up, we'll have, of course, all the latest news on the US debt ceiling and Iran as well. And a little bit later on in the next half hour in Focus, our reporters go undercover to find out just how easy it is to get false papers here in France. That's our special Focus report coming up in the next half hour on France 24.